This is Lisa from Virtual Chocolate TV, and I am recording this for the second time because I just recorded a few minutes ago and I realized I didn't program my software to pick up the audio, so here we go again. Before I get to my review, let me tell you a funny story. Now, my husband has a real sweet tooth like most of us, but he's also diabetic. So I always have to come up with recipes and modify them so that they're low glycemic. And some I've been successful, some of them I failed. And one thing my husband really wanted was brownies. I mean, who doesn't love a good brownie, right? I sure do. Well, so I took a recipe that looked really good from one of my absolute favorite YouTube personalities, and her recipes are out of this world. I've done some myself, some of her previous recipes for myself, and they were absolutely delicious. So what I decided to do was take a recipe for nice fudgy gooey brownies and modify it. Yep, modify it. Modify what looks like a very perfect brownie recipe. Okay? So I replaced all the sugar with coconut sugar, which I'm sure is okay. But where I really screwed up is that I replaced the flour, the all-purpose flour, with oat flour. Yep, oat flour. No starch, no binders. So I make this recipe, I bake it, and when I take it out, first of all, I notice it doesn't have that beautiful sheen on top that a good brownie would have. You know how brownies have that distinctive sheen, that crust on top? These brownies didn't have them. And not only did they not taste right, they would fall apart at a touch. You barely touch them, and you'd end up with crumbs. So I would call this attempt an epic fail. Yep, I failed. I tried. I failed. So I figured from now on, if I make this recipe again, I'm just going to do it by the book and come up with maybe something different to, satisfy that craving of his. But anyway, on with the review. Now, I found these in Walmart about 3 months ago. They are the Looka triple chocolate mousse cakes, and as you can see, they have a beautiful presentation. It's kind of an ombre style, and it has a nice sweet cookie base and these big chocolate curls. And I mean, look at that. Just take a moment and look. Aren't those like the most delectable things you have ever seen in your life? Well, I finally decided to go ahead and buy these, and so I bring them home. I put them in the freezer. These are $4.98 for two. $4.98 for one of these boxes, and two come in a box. So it's almost $5 for two. So I take them home. Put them in the freezer because you're supposed to store these frozen. And a few nights ago, it was late at night, somewhere around 11 o'clock, and I remember, oh yeah, so I take them out of the freezer, I unpackage them, and they come in. They each have like their own little capsule that they're kept in so that they don't move around in the packaging, and they're each wrapped in some acetate to help them hold their shape. So I take them out of the freezer, I take them out of the packaging, I plate one of them up, and before I brought it out here to eat, I read the thawing instructions, and it says to thaw at room temperature for 1 hour. Why the heck didn't I think about this earlier? Of course it would have to be thawed. So I put this in the freezer. I put what was left in the freezer. I take my dessert, take my fork, I come over here to to sit down and do my thing at the computer, and this thing is sitting there looking so scrumptious. Look, looking so scrumptious. And about a half hour rolls by and I couldn't wait anymore. And I figured it would probably just have the consistency of ice cream, which it did, and it was delicious. But I wanted to try it the way it was supposed to be eaten, as a mousse. So what I did was I put the second one, in the package, in the refrigerator so it would be ready to go. And all this time I'm thinking, is it going to hold its shape? Is the cookie base going to be soggy? Was this a bad idea? So I take it out of the refrigerator. It held its shape. It was fine. And I ate it, and it was delicious. Absolutely delicious. I've got nothing bad to say about these. These were delicious. The thing is, this is something that you would buy for you and your partner. You and your significant other. You and your spouse. This is not something you would want to buy for a dinner party because it would just cost too much. You could probably do closer to the same thing if you take some nice sweet cookies, put them in the bottom of a nice tall clear glass. If you have like chocolate mousse and white chocolate mousse, take a third from each and mix them together to make the lighter color in the middle, and then just layer them in the glass, sprinkle it with some chocolate curls or chocolate pieces or whatever, and you have a beautiful elegant dessert, and it would be way cheaper. But this is I think a worthy investment for you and your partner. In my case, I would have to come up with a modified version that's lower in sugar for my husband because he's got diabetes. So anyway, that's it for my review, and thankfully we've got sound this time, so thank you, love you. This is Lisa from Virtual Chocolate TV. See you later. Bye.